Okay, good morning. Now, today we continue discussing workbook exercise. Today we have exercise, I think, 63, every and each. Okay. Exercise 63. Indicate whether the dash in each of the sentences below can be replaced by each or every. If either way, the table gives them both. Number one. Number one.
Every man in the crowd raised his hand.
Every man in the crowd. Can we say each?
Each man in the crowd? I think yes.
Yes. Then we can use every and each. Can say every man and each man. Okay. Next.
There were police on every side of the square. I think we can say also there were police on each side of the square.
Yes. We can also say there were police on every side or each side of the square. Next.
The crowd lined with to the side of the street.
Every or the crowd line.
كمان نفس الشيء دكتور every لا مش عارف إذا بصير each side.
Can we use every here? How many sides for the street we have here? How many sides?
Two sides.
Two. The square, how many sides for the square?
Four.
Four. And the two and the four. The two, we use each with what? Two or more than two?
Two.
Two. Well, every with eight.
Two and
more than two.
More than two. Even number three, we say the crowd line on each side of the street. بينما number two, there were police نقدر نستخدمهم ايش؟ Each or every, but not every in number three. Because we have two sides in it. Okay, next.
One of the two men was 6 feet tall.
Everyone of the two men?
أتوقع دكتور.
How many men do you have here?
Each one.
Two. Each one of the two men was 6 feet tall. Next.
Everyone on the team received a prize.
Everyone in the team. I'm going to each one in the team. Yes. But when I have four, we use each. Next.
Each received a medal too.
Yes. Each received a medal too. Next.
The players received $100 each.
Each, yes. Next.
The ceremony will be repeated every 2 years.
The ceremony will be repeated every 2 years, yes. Next.
They each received a bonus.
Yes, they each received the bonus. Next. They were
each looking
each.
anxiously.
Yes. They were each looking anxiously at the referee. Any question about each and every? Okay. قلنا each is used with two, every is used with more than two. Now exercise 64, universal and particle pronouns and determinants. Choose one item from the left hand column to replace each dash in the sentences below. Yes. Number one.
I haven't read all of this book. I have read some of it.
Yes.
At least دكتور أول واحدة.
Yes.
At least I know about the subject. I know something about the subject.
Yes. Even I haven't read all of this book, but I have read some of it. At least I know something about the subject. Next.
I haven't read. I haven't read any of the last 4 chapters yet, so I know nothing about them. I'm afraid.
Even I haven't read any of the last 4 chapters yet, so I know nothing about them. I haven't read. Next.
It is a big book, but we're expected to read it all during the year. We can't leave anything out.
Okay. Even it's a big book, but we are expected to read it all during the year. We can't leave anything out. Yes. Next.
I can't find my pen anywhere.
Anywhere.
I have looked everywhere for it.
Even I can't find my pen anywhere. I have looked everywhere for it. Yes. Next.
But it must be somewhere. Where haven't you looked? Be nowhere.
But it must be somewhere. Where haven't you looked?
Nowhere.
Nowhere. Nowhere. Yes. Next.
Has smoking anything to do with cancer? Some people believe smoking has nothing to do with cancer at all. Others feel that it might have something to do with it, but they don't know what.
Even has smoking anything to do with cancer? Some people believe smoking has nothing to do with cancer at all. Others feel that it might have something to do with it. Next.
Is any of the increase due to better diagnosis? Yes, some of it undoubtedly is. One could not pretend that any of it is, or some of it. مش عارف.
When we say here, is any of the
Is
increase
any due to better diagnosis?
Yes, some or any of the increase due to better diagnosis. Yes.
Yes.
Some of it doubtedly.
Some
of it undoubtedly is. One could not pretend that
None of it.
none of it.
Mm.
Or all of it. None of it or all of it. Okay. Next.
Some doctors insist that everyone should give up smoking. Do you think that everyone need give it up? I think that some people ought to, but not everyone.
Okay, then some doctors insist that everyone should give up smoking. Do you think that everyone or anyone need to give it up? I think that some people ought to, but not everyone, but not everyone. Yes. Next.
Here are two keys. Will either of them fit this drawer? No, either of them will. There is in fact no key for that drawer.
Then here are two keys. Will either of them fit this drawer? No, neither of them will. There is in fact no key for that drawer. Next.
Every man in the village assembled to hear the verdict. All of them came. They all came, and the verdict was announced to them all.
To them all. Then every man in the village assembled to hear the verdict. They all came, and the verdict was announced to them all. To them all. Okay. Now the last exercise here in the workbook here, exercise 65. Some and any with assertion and non-assertion. Identify the non-assertive component. Number one.
There isn't anything we can do. It isn't anything.
Yeah, high non-assertive, yes. Non-assertive. Next.
We have scarcely any money left. Scarcely any.
Scarcely, yes. Scarcely is what? Non-assertive. Next.
If you need any help, please let me know. Non-assertion if والأني.
If, yes. Any.
والأني.
If. Any. Yes. Next.
I do not believe your intervention will make any difference. Do not any.
Do not. Any. Yes. Next.
We seldom have any occasion for using this expensive machinery. Seldom any.
Seldom any. Yes. Next.
Is there anyone here who speaks Arabic? Is بس.
Is there anyone? Anyone?
Nice.
Anyone who speaks Arabic. Next.
Before we go any further, we must agree on procedure. Before or any, Doctor?
Yes, and on yes, before.
Or any.
Any, yes. Next.
Is there anyone here who speaks Arabic? Is there anyone?
Is there anyone? Yes. Next.
Unless you have anything more to say, I shall consider the matter closed. Unless or anything. Anything.
Anything, yes. Next.
دكتور بس شو الكلمة اللي بعدها؟
Curfew. A curfew was imposed in an attempt to prevent any further violence. Prevent to any.
Non-assertive هنا ايش؟ prevent any. لاحظنا non-assertive هنا يكون نيجاتيف إذن بكون في عندنا adverb preposition scarcely وseldom في عندنا any و if و anyone before anywhere anything unless prevent any كلها ايش non-assertive. Okay. Now we are done with the workbook. Any question about the exercise we have done so far here? Any question? ننتقل للبوك للشابتر آخر شابتر يكون معنا الفصل لو adverbs and adjectives. Okay.
Doctor, do we have to start with it today?
Why not?
I don't know.
Why not? على أساس يعني we'll finish early. Okay. ما نتأخرش بالفصل.
Okay.
Then we start a new chapter today, the adjectives and adverbs. Adjectives and adverbs. Adjectives and adverbs. Okay. Now, we know adjectives and we know adverbs, right? Okay, and this chapter is talking about adjectives and adverbs. Now, my question here, why is it difficult? Why is it difficult to tell that a word is an adjective by its form? Is it easy to tell that a word is an adjective by its form?
Not all of the time.
Not all the time. Why, طيب? Why is it difficult?
Because some can function also as adverbs.
Then a simple reason. Number one, some affixes are found with adjectives زي OUS زي مثلا adventurous بينما other adjectives many other adjectives ما لهم have no identifying shape زي good, hot, little, young, fat. يعني we know مثلا when we say adventurous is an adjective, but when we have ليش we can guess it it's an adjective because it has the suffix OUS. بينما other adjectives like good, hot, little, young, fat, they have no definite they have no identifying shape. بينما adventurous we have the suffix, from the suffix we can guess that it's not an adjective. Okay. Also another reason here, many adjectives are what? Inflect for the comparative and superlative. But many do not. Okay. Then many adjectives inflict for the comparative and superlative. ER لو هو greater مثلا greater greatest طبعا في عندنا ER و ST or superlative comparative superlative بينما many do not allow inflected forms. The disasters, we don't say disastrous, okay? أو disastrous. لأنه هاي الadjective more than 10 to 11. We can't say disastrous أو disastrous. ليش؟ لأنه this adjective has two syllables. So we don't use ER or EST, we use S more. More disastrous, most disastrous. Okay. Then another reason, many adjectives inflict for the comparative and superlative. They're going to greater, but many do not allow inflected forms. They disasters. Okay. Okay. Now, and now let's look at the adverbs. A few adverbs can be similar inflected. Then few adverbs can be similar. مثلا he worked hard, he worked harder, he worked hardest. إذا في عندنا harder و hardest. يعني برضو many adjectives provide the base from which adverbs are derived by means of ly suffix. Then happy adjective, the adverb happily. Then happy is adjective, بينما adverb happily we add ايش؟ we add ly. Some do not allow this derivational process. For example, old, we don't say oldly. يعني هنا the oldly is not derived from the adjective old. And a few adjectives that are themselves derived from an adjective base. Then kindly, kind هاي هنا بنقول مثلا is an adjective. So this adjective is derived from an adjective base, من kindly. برضو kindly can be used as an adverb. As an adverb. Okay. So we can see that it's not easy to differentiate between adjectives, adjectives themselves between the adverbs. Okay. And هنا قلنا example هنا for example في عندنا suffix OUS make it adjective بينما في عندنا other adjectives they do not have هذا suffix زي good وباد little. Okay. من برضو many adjectives inflect for comparative superlative يعني adjectives they do not inflect for comparative superlative. إن كمان في عندنا adverbs are derived from by means of ly suffix من adjectives they derive from adjectives happy or happily. Some adjectives do not derive or some adverbs are not derived in this way. Then old, we don't say oldly. It's not derived from the adjective old. And a few adjectives that are derived from an adjective base. Kindly and kind. Yeah. But it can be used as what? As an adverb.
Adverb.
Okay. Then I have in space adjectives and adverbs. Any question about them? إذا نقدر نقول it is not easy to figure out adjectives. Yes, because they do not have regular, what regular we can say, they don't have regular way to know them. I mean, not all, مثلا, all adjectives have OUS, or not all of them don't have, then it's not easy to guess whether this is an adjective or not, because they are not the basis in which adjectives are based are not regular, so they are not definite. So it is difficult to really know whether this is adjective or not, because they don't have what we call adjective markers that indicate that they are adjectives. Okay. Now, most adjectives can be both attributive and predicative. إذا adjectives ممكن يكونوا attributive and predicative. بينما other adjectives or some adjectives can be يا بكونوا either attributive only أو predicative only. الadjectives عندنا three types of adjectives. Adjectives may be attributive only أو predicative only أو both predicative and attributive. فنشوف. Most adjectives can be pre-modified by intensifier very. Even adjectives can be pre-modified by intensifier. زي مثلا very. نقول the children are very happy. Even very عبارة عن intensifiers which pre-modifies the adjective happy. Okay. Most adjectives can make or take comparative and superlative forms. ممكن comparison يكون by means of reflection, by using ER here, the children are happier now, أو ST are happiest, أو by addition of the
more or must.
له more أو most. Okay. لأن إيش؟ الcomparison والcontrast. مثلا these students are more intelligent. More, we use more here. They are the most beautiful. Use most. إذن الكاركترستيك الثاني من الادجكتيفز إنه إيش؟ They can take comparative and superlative form. الأول قلنا they are predicative, maybe only predicative, أو attributive only, أو both. The second trait of adjectives, they can take comparative or superlative form by adding ER أو more أو EST أو إيش most. Okay. So an adjective phrase is a phrase with an adjective as a head. Then two adjective phrase with an adjective is head of the with adjective phrase. مثلا he was so very happy. Where is the head?
Happy.
Okay. بينما so very عبارة عن ايش؟ عن intensifiers. Okay. أو بتكون ايش؟ so realization he was happy. إذا happy بكون ايش؟ head. إذا الادجكتيف ممكن يكون adjective ممكن يكون adjective phrase. adjective phrase بكون الادجكتيف هو الهيد زي ما شفنا المثال هنا. طبعا adjectives function syntactically يعني syntactically يعني grammatically in adjective phrase. But since it is the adjective that generally determines the function of the adjective phrase, so we have found it convenient to use adjective alone to illustrate the functions of an adjective phrase. And we have often referred to as adjective shorter way of referring to adjective phrases. Okay. Now let's talk about the syntactic functions or the grammatical functions of adjectives. زي ما قلنا adjectives are two types, attributive and predicative. إذن الميجر syntactic functions of adjectives شو بيكونوا attributive and what? Predicative. شو يعني attributive? Adjectives are attributive when they pre-modify noun. يعني comes before the noun. Appear between the determiner and the head of the noun phrase. Look at the example. the beautiful painting. طبعا beautiful عبارة عن attributive adjective. ليش؟ Because it pre-modifies the noun painting. Then it comes before the noun. نقدر نقول it's pre-modify the noun painting. Its main argument. برضو main عبارة عن attributive adjective and it pre-modifies the noun argument. Then the first case is attributive. Adjective تكون attributive لما تكون ايش؟ pre-modifying ايش؟ the noun. يعني it comes before the noun. بالنسبة للattributive. The predicative adjective can be subject complement زي your daughter is a pretty. pretty عبارة عن ايش؟ subject complement زي your daughter. أو object complement. He made his wife happy complement لإيش؟ لwife. Okay. إذا the predicative شو يعني predicative؟ يعني adjectives come in the إيش؟ in the verbal part. لما نقول مثلا your daughter is pretty. هنا pretty comes after the verb. إذا بنسميها predicative. ليش؟ لأنها adjectives comes إيش؟ within the verb place. Okay. إذا the predicative adjectives can be ممكن يكون subjective complement أو objective complement. ممكن كمان they can be complement to a subject which is finite clause. Then complement to a subject which is finite clause. Whether he will resign is uncertain. An adjective. Complement ليش؟ لهي whether he will resign. In uncertain عبارة عن adjective complement the subject here لهي whether he will resign. Okay. The adjectives can be complement to a subject اللي هو finite clause. أو ممكن تكون برضه the non-finite clause. Driving a bus isn't easy. برضه easy. The complement to the finite to the non-finite clause اللي هو driving a bus. Okay. برضه adjectives can be object complements to clauses. Object complement to clauses. مثلا I considered what he did foolish. طبعا what he did عبارة عن ايش complement. Sorry. Adjective. I considered what he did foolish. Foolish عبارة عن adjective. It's complement to ايش؟ To the clause I consider what he did. إذا foolish عبارة عن complement للclause I consider what he did أو I consider playing so hard. An adjective functioning as object complement often expresses the result of the process. Look at the examples here. He pulled his tight. He pulled his belt tight. Where's the adjective? Tight. طبعا tight عبارة عن result of what? Of tightening. Sorry. Tightening the belt is a result of pulling it. The tight is what is the result, okay, of pulling the belt. So here we can see he pulled his belt. As a result, it became what? Tight. Okay. He pushed the windows open or the window open. So as he pushed the window, it opened. Okay. إذا هنا الادجكتيف عبارة عن ايش؟
Result.
Is it the result of a process? Result of process. For example number 1 شو البروسيس اللي هي pulling the bill. This is the process. شو result being typed. Number 2 شو البروسيس here he pushed the window.
Push the window.
البروسيس شو result open.
Open.
الادجكتيف عباره عن ايش؟
The
الريزلت
result.
بروسيس result لا بروسيس. اوكي انا question about adjectives. اذا نقدر نقول adjectives في عندنا two syntactic functions of adjectives. قلنا الفانكشن الاولى اللي هي قلنا ايش؟ attributive. شو attributive يعني؟ يعني it comes before the noun. comes before the noun. زي ما قلنا انه comes before the noun بنفس الوقت pre-modifies the noun. زي ما قلنا قبل شويه the beautiful planting. when beautiful عباره عن attributive adjective comes before the noun and it pre-modifies the noun thing. الجزء الثاني من الادجكتيف نسميه predicative. شو يعني predicative؟ يعني comes in the verbal part. يعني where the verb is located we use the adjective. Now for example ممكن تكون الادجكتيف هي predicative adjective subject complement object complement. ممكن يكون subject للfinite clause. ممكن تكون subject للinfinite clause. ممكن تكون object للcomplement أو ممكن تكون complement object complement لresult of process. إذا هنا الattributive sorry الpredicative لها many functions. يعني number 1 number 2 number 3 number 4 number 5. يعني predicative can be subject complement طبعا هنا تيجي after the verb ذلك نسميها predicative. إذا subject complement هنا example number 1 example number 2 object complement wife happy. يعني wife happy. when happy pre-modifies the wife now. sorry post modify. When to subject to finite clause I'm going to whether he will certain is uncertain. when uncertain is what is complement the subject whether he will resign. وتكون برضه subject للnon-finite when easy is what is the complement for the subject deriving the vessel non-finite. وتكون complement للclause foolish is complement للclause I consider what he did. ممكن تكون برضه function object complement بالحالة بتكون express result of process زي ما قلنا he pulled his bill tight and he pushed the windows open. Any question about this? About adjectives? Any adjectives? Sorry, any question about adjectives? واضح؟
No.
Okay, if you don't have any question here, so we stop today at this place here. And we'll see you next week. Happy, a nice weekend.
You too.
You too.